Hello. Hi. It's 1:30 in the morning right now. I should be sleeping, but I just finished filming a video for my other channel. I'm feeling pretty. I really want to talk about books. So hi, hello, my name's Anastasia. Welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about my 2021 reading goals. Okay, so realistically, I shouldn't be setting too many reading goals for this year and channel goals or anything like that because it's a pretty hectic and big year for me. This is the year that I graduate from university. I will be moving, I will be, job hunting, and then it's like the transition period where you move and when you transition to your different kind of life outside of university, and now you stop being a student and bills and things and just responsibilities in adulthood, and that's scary, so we don't think about that. Basically, with this huge introduction, what I want to say is that I shouldn't have aspirations when it comes to books. That being said, I've already finished 2 books this month, which is more than I've finished the past few months, and I'm reading my 3rd book and I'm feeling very ambitious right now. Number 1 goal I have for this year is to read more of my physical TBR, because I'll be moving and I would like to read most of the books that I have here so I can decide whether I want to give them away to secondhand bookstores or keep them, because the move is gonna be difficult otherwise and books weigh a lot. So far I have been reading physical books, and it's great and bad at the same time. Great because the 2 books that I've read that are physical, well, one I'm still reading, I'm loving and I have loved, and they're heavy and big, both of them. Right now I'm just picking up physical books being like, please let me hate you so I can give you away, please let me hate you. And I think that's why I'm loving them, because I'm going into them with low expectations. I will just show you a few of the books that I am planning to read in the next 6 months that I'll be in Sheffield. The next book that I'll be reading after I finish reading the book that I'm reading that I'm still not telling you about is Uprooted, but no, it's Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. It's not exactly the sequel, but it's the next installment in this anthology duology, I think. I don't know if it's a trilogy or not, that Naomi Novik has created, and it's basically a fairy tale retelling of Rumpelstiltskin, I think, because I'm seeing this right now. But my best friend has read this. She's obsessed with it. She's told me to read it so many times. Well, it snowed the other days and it's really cold outside, so it's like the perfect period to read this book, right? Then I have a Stephen King book, Pet Sematary. I really want to read this because if I'm not gonna like it, I just want to give it away, because I like The Shining, couldn't get through it, so I didn't bring it back with me from Greece because it's a brick. So I'm like, if there's any time to read Stephen King, it's just now to get it over with, so I don't have to like travel with it for the rest of my life. In terms of classics, I have Jane Eyre here, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna have the time to read it because it's, when it comes to writing, it's really intricate, and right now I'm not feeling like I want to read that. But I do have The Master and the Margarita, and this is on top of my TBR because I've already read like 100 pages of it or like 70 pages of it. I read it like towards the end of 2020. I love it. It's so weird. It's just so ridiculous and like amazing, and the writing style is beautiful. I put it down because towards the end of 2020 I was in a reading slump, and it was too, again, like the writing was too heavy for me. It needed to, for me to be focused on the plot and everything, and I was told that you need to be like 100% focused on this book to actually understand it. I can't really tell you what this is about because it's really weird, but oh, there's like a really small blurb. So it says, one hot spring, the devil makes a personal appearance in Moscow, accompanied by various demons, including a naked girl and a huge black cat. When he leaves, the asylums are full and the forces of law and order are in disarray. Only the master, a man devoted to truth, and Margarita, the woman he loves, can resist the devil's onslaught. It's really interesting. Just sounds ridiculous. It is. It's amazing. Then we have this big ass trilogy. It's His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. These are 3 books, and I know I'm being ambitious, but hopefully I will get through this. mostly because I really want to watch the TV show. Fun fact about me, I have read this. I read it in primary school more than 10 years ago, and I remember nothing. What this is about, I should be able to tell you, but I'm not sure. I think it's about a girl who is under the care of her uncle. She's in an orphanage or something, and in this world, children and people have familiars and they're connected with them. And I'm not sure what kind of a connection it is, like they fit in power, but I feel like I remember that if you hurt the familiar, you hurt the girl, and that's it. That's all I remember. But it's like, you probably know about this trilogy because it's really, really famous. Next up, we have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I've had this since last year. It's her first adult fantasy book. I'm really excited about this. You probably already know about this. It's about the secret societies in Yale, and about a girl that goes undercover to see what's happening there or something, and apparently has really dark themes like murder or like sexual assault or something like that, but it's supposed to be really dark. I love Leigh Bardugo's writing. The only reason I haven't read this yet is because I'm going through the Shadow and Bone trilogy in preparation for the TV show. We'll talk about more about that later. Then A Discovery of Witches that I really want to read, because if 1 a.m. in the morning, guys, because if I don't read this now, I don't know when I will. It's one of those books that I'm really excited to read, but I never reach out for, and I have a feeling I'm gonna like it, but I don't know why I'm not picking it up. And I have a feeling that if I don't read it in these 6 months, it's gonna take a long while. It's about a girl that goes to Oxford University, I think. She's a witch, and then she gets in cahoots with a vampire, and they fall in love. It's a little bit star-crossed, and it's urban fantasy, and we love this kind of things. I missed like witches and vampires and all of that, and I'm like ready to head into that kind of a gritty novel and magic and all of that. And of course, a Neil Gaiman book. I've had this book for years. Like, I literally brought it with me first year in university so I can read it, and I still have not read it. And I feel like I came into Sheffield like holding on to this book, and I need to leave full circle and read it. It's like if I have accomplished anything during the last 3 years in university, it should be reading this book. That sounded really sad. The thing that I love about this book, it has beautiful illustrations. I love Chris Riddell's illustrations. He illustrated the Graveyard Book as well, which I read years and years ago and loved it. I love Neil Gaiman's writing and his quirky world. Basically, this is it. Under the streets of London lies a world most people could never dream of. Again, I think it's with peculiar creatures and a dark world, and it's about a guy that goes into it and just explores it. And lastly, this is the only thriller I have here, and it's Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. And I will not lie to you, the main reason I bought this was because I saw the Greek last name and I got excited. This is a thriller. I don't know much about this. Don't want to know much about this, but I know that it was definitely a bestseller, and I got it from Oxfam, and the guy at the till really loves this, and he said it's a really good thriller. And when I checked on Goodreads, a lot of people said that is really well written. In terms of other reading goals, other books I'd like to read is the Shadow and Bone trilogy, because the TV show is coming out. I still haven't read the trilogy, even though I love Six of Crows. It's my favorite duology in the world. I have only read Shadow and Bone. I need to read the second and the third book. And also, I'd really like to continue on with the Bridgerton series. I'd like to read the entire 8-book series because I've never read a historical romance, and it was a really great introduction into it. And last big goal when it comes to books is rereading the Shadowhunter Chronicles. Okay, so the book that I'm reading right now is Chain of Gold, and I've left this sitting on myself for a year. I don't know what made me think that I wouldn't immediately be obsessed with a Cassandra Clare book. Like, I started questioning my life. and I'm only like 100 pages in, I started questioning my life. I'm like, if my own like real life doesn't give me the same emotions and excitement that this book gives me, what's the point? Like, can I just jump into it and just like, I feel like I was meant to live in a fantasy novel. I reread the Infernal Devices last year, and reading this, I'm just, first of all, I already love this. I love this so much. Like, I just love this. Yes, so what I really want to do is reread the Mortal Instruments. Again, too many books to read, shouldn't. My Goodreads goal is on 20 books, and probably that's all I'm gonna read. But you know, like, let's be ambitious even though we're not gonna do this. Another goal of mine this year is to venture out. I already started doing this by reading historical romance with the Duke and I will continue to read that series, as I said. I really want to read more thrillers, venture into classics, but not too much, because I'm starting to realize that it's not always my thing, and the past few years I've been pushing myself because like, you need to read classics. But I do want to venture more into that and figure out what kind of classics I like. For example, I tried reading The Turn of the Screw last year and it just wasn't for me. I don't like books where one sentence is a huge paragraph. It's just not for me. But I'm loving The Master and the Margarita, and there is a book mentioned, actually a poetry book mentioned in Chain of Gold, Layla and I'm butchering the name, Magnim, I don't know. But I really want to read this because the snippets are beautiful. I also want to read books from authors that are not American or English. I read The Shadow of the Wind this year, and it was beautiful, and it was by a Spanish author. You know how Parasite showed us that there are beautiful movies out there that are not necessarily like English and American? I think that's what the past few books that I've read have showed me, and I really want to explore that. I want to read Japanese authors, and I want to read French authors, and possibly like a Greek author, because I haven't read a Greek book in like ages. Fun fact, also, I started a reading journal. I'm not going to show it to you because it's still in these really early stages, but I really want to note down my the books that I read and my thoughts. I really miss this. I really miss really digging into a book because I'm working on my writing again, which means that I really want to dissect the books I read. I like to annotate them, like underline beautiful sentences that I find, like take into consideration the structure of the book and the action and the plot and the character development and all of that, and I feel like I really want to continue doing that. And lastly, the last two goals, but like if you intersect them, it's kind of like one goal, is to be more consistent in this channel and on my Instagram as well, which you can find it at @markingthepage. Please check it out. I will be posting more often. I have a feeling I've spent most of this video just looking at myself instead of looking at the camera. I'm just a narcissist today. I just love myself. I just, you know, like blue hair. But yeah, I want to be more consistent. I want to make more content because it's something that I enjoy. And the past 6 months, things have just been really stressful, and most of the things I do them to profit out of them. And there's that added stress, and I just need something that I simply enjoy. And I just love talking with people and like seeing the comments and like having this beautiful community. I know I'm like a really minuscule booktuber on YouTube, but even like those 3 or 4 comments are like so nice. So yeah, this is already like 23 minutes long, and I don't want this video to be more than 15 minutes. So I will end this here. Those are my goals. I have no script here. I'm probably bubbled on more than I should have, but I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this, give it a like. Tell me your goals about this year. Tell me what is like the first book you've read so far. Did you like it? What were your thoughts? I really would like recommendations, even if I shouldn't get recommendations, but I like them either way. Subscribe if you want to, and I will see you in the next video.